onto my channel. It is Kiwiradio.nz broadcasting live right now for you on a Monday, 17th June 2024, 8:15. Oh, wait. 8:15. Wait. It is not 8. It is 10:15 in the morning, and that just goes to show that I am not an AI robot on air. Speaking of, apparently the first radio DJs in Portland have cloned one of their main hosts and doing some of the lifting there on air. So we won't be doing that right now until I can figure it out, of course. And then we'll just replace everything I do with robots, because that seems like what's happening right now in the current zombie economy that we have. I want to shout out my friend there, the VinnyEastwoodshow.com. That's the VinnyEastwoodshow.com, who just finished his live. So hopefully we'll be getting some of his audience joining us today as well for a bit of a yarn and a chat. And if you want to call in, I will be available right now as your therapist. No, I'm not qualified. But if you do want to call in, it is 0988985555. We also broadcast regularly on Tuesdays 7 p.m. New Zealand time, Tuesday 7 p.m. New Zealand time, and we just actually lined up a guest for next Tuesday, which is tomorrow. The lovely Stephanie Beck will be joining us to plug her music on a Tuesday 7 to 8 p.m. And I want to shout out also to a previous singer-songwriter that's been on the show, Jenny Smith, for actually recommending us to her friend, who will be visiting New Zealand and playing some gigs. So, yeah, join in tomorrow for that. That's every Tuesday, 7 p.m. New Zealand time. And look, for someone that's kind of doom and gloom and feeling a little bit low, obviously I am in the hunt for a job right now. If you want to know more about that, I've been posting regularly on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Kiwiradio.nz. And oh boy, what a struggle it is right now to be trying to look for work. I mean, everything seems to be, the algorithm seems to be like it's kicked in. And, you know, finding a job right now, I feel like it's a little bit of AI involved, because I'm getting like rejection letters within 5 minutes. I'm thinking whether or not it's all automated and everything. Hey, hello to Kyle John there in the YouTube chat. First time here. Thank you, bro. And I'm actually very good friends with Vinny Eastwood, so thank you for coming along from his show to another local show here in New Zealand. And what I usually do here, Kyle, is every Tuesday we do music shows with local Aotearoa musicians. But every now and then I do an ad hoc show like this one and just open the lines on 09889855. That's 09889855. Apparently I may get a call at some point from someone, but who knows. If you want to have a chat, let me know. That's 09889855. Free to call, of course, if you are in New Zealand. So what are we going to be talking about right now? Someone really dear to me passed away and was found dead last weekend. An Auckland woman called Monica went missing on Friday, and she is now found dead. What does it say here? On Sunday, police said that they had found Monica deceased. Her death was not treated as suspicious. Police said her death would be referred to the coroner and extended their sympathies to her family. Earlier, Monica's family described her as a much-loved friend, sister, and auntie of a large family. All of us, we love Monica so much. Monica, we love you, bro. And I feel like I always think that maybe I could have done more, because actually I worked with Monica at an operational centre. That my last role was a contract role for public transport here in New Zealand. Hello, Debbie. How are you? Hello. Good to be here. First time too. So we've got all the Vinny virgins on the show. The Vinny virgins. Oh, yeah. Woo! Somebody popping your cherry, and if you want to call in, it's 0988985555. Debbie, thank you for joining the conversation. Kyle, hope you're having a good Monday as well. So back to this person, Monica, who was found dead this weekend. You can obviously check out some of the local news if you want to know more. Not sponsored, but I actually found this article through ground.news. Not a sponsored website, but ground.news actually gets several sources from the internet, whether it's left, right, or center. And so you can kind of find like a transparent view of the news and try not to be, too lenient from left or right or whatever. So Debbie, hello, 4 icons right there in the chat. I love you all. Thank you so much for joining. Remember, we will be broadcasting on Kiwiradio.nz every Tuesday, 7 p.m. New Zealand time. We have the lovely Stephanie Beck joining us tomorrow evening for a live chat about her music and what she's doing in New Zealand. She's going to be visiting. Awesome. So check out for that. And also you can find me on Instagram.com/@KiwiRadioNZ. Since we are broadcasting on YouTube, the pillars of evil, everything's automated. You can see the transcription already being done for you. I recently applied for a security role for one of the data centers because my background is in technology, as you can probably see in the background. I love toys and technology, audio engineer at heart and everything. But anyways, what many people in New Zealand don't know is data centers are popping up in New Zealand. So you're talking about the Microsofts, you're talking about CBC. So I was actually going to work for one of those data centers as a security guard, a patrol. There's 6 layers of security for those data centers, which kind of makes you wonder, what are they actually keeping? Are they keeping, I don't know, our views on Pornhub? Are they wanting to know when we farted at what time? Are they wanting to know? Yeah, I just want to know. DK, hello, sup everyone. Again, open lines on 098898555. I do like to try and talk to people. Sometimes it takes a while for people to call in, but I am here for you, especially if you're a Vinny virgin. Woo! So I just want to address this because many of you are from that website, thevinnyeastwoodshow.com, who just did a live right now. Vinny is a very good friend of mine, and I touch base with him every now and then. I actually had a coffee with him in person the other week. He's going through rough financial problems right now, and I can totally relate, and I'm not one to fix things. I just kind of went there and had a cry with him, man. I just gave him a hug and I had a cry. And that's what we got to do as friends, is we're not there to fix other people's problems. We just got to be present. And my channel is a little bit the same. I'm a little bit different to most people out there where they're trying to always get more and more and more and more viewers. For me, it's all about fewer viewers, but deeper conversations. So that's what I want to get into. Anyways, I'm segueing left, right, and center, but I will get back to what I know about Monica, who unfortunately passed away, was found dead this weekend. I feel like maybe I could have done more, as I was saying earlier, because before I left that contract role and at their operational center, and mind you, an operational center is 24/7. So some of us were doing overnights, like just really rough rosters, 6 days on, 4 days off. It was just always changing. And especially Monica's role, she was doing a lot of that. And that's what I know, is she was actually telling me she was under the pump with her schedule with work, but at the same time, she's well educated. She's already got X amount of degrees, but she was also, to try and get ahead in life in Auckland, she was also trying to upskill herself as well. So she was doing full-time study, full-time work, and at the same time, she was saying that she was having problems relationally with certain things. I didn't get into it too deep. She actually and also she has ADHD. So I'm not a mental health expert, but if anyone knows a little bit about ADHD, maybe you can let me know what you know. But apparently there's a bit of that too. So I don't know how that affected her mental health, whether she was hyper-focused and everything like that. I actually work right now casual hours, 4 hours a week in the disability sector, and training myself a little bit about that. But my area of expertise at the moment is Prader-Willi syndrome, so people that can't stop eating, and I'm looking at more courses to do so I'm able to be certified to pick up some autistic clients. But for me, mental health, disabilities is kind of a new career path for me, because I'm very much involved in tech in the last several years. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. If anyone knows any jobs right now in Auckland, I am actively looking, because my last role was contract, and it was one of the best roles I'd ever had. The manager was super nice, but it came to an end because they had a hiring freeze. Because if you remember, National are cutting back all the public sector workers, right? I have a friend that works in social housing. There's 60% cuts there. You know, the poor contractors that bloody build the things, you know, they don't know where their next gig is because they haven't been told what's going to be happening after the build, that kind of thing. So I feel like we're in the gig economy now, but also add to that, you've got the AI robots competing for you. You've got, it's a race to the bottom. You've got people from overseas without visas coming into New Zealand. You're competing for cheap labor there. I mean, for one, I'm trying to stay away from minimum wage. I'm a 40-year-old man now, so I feel like minimum wage is for people that are, you know, teenagers and it's their first job out of high school. That's fine. But for people like me who have a kid and a mortgage and all sorts of adulting stuff, I feel like who can live on that, right? And if you check out my channel right now, I've been deep diving into some of the terrible stories the Americans, our American compatriots are going through right now, and people offering them $8 an hour or something like that. You know, I'm talking about well-educated medical people or something. It's just a race to the bottom. But let me know, are you still here? Am I verbal diarrhea for you? Is this a good channel? Most people log off after, I don't know, I've been streaming for 12 minutes. So usually you're all done. You kind of fap to me and then you go. So that's the entertainment business. But if you are still tuned in, hello. Tell me that you have already fapped and you've released your goods to the world already, but you're still around and you don't want to make this a one-night stand and you want to you know, keep this relationship alive. Debbie's there. Cool. So Debbie is asking for the second date right now. No, she's there. She's past the 12-minute mark. Debbie's saying, yes, it's terrible over in America. Absolutely. It is a race to the bottom. A race to the bottom. A good YouTube channel to check out, if you don't believe me, is I recently found a YouTube channel called Tell M Boy, TELLEMBOI. And it's basically all these TikTokers telling them their life story, how terrible employers have treated them, all sorts of stuff. Now, I, for one, disclosure, will never, ever, ever, ever join TikTok, right? Yeah, it's the gateway to CCP monitoring. And I'm not one of those people on the internet going, the government is spying on us without actually kind of like working in the field itself. I've worked in an operational center, guys, where there are 3,000 cameras plus and climbing since lockdown, by the way, all new in the last 2 or 3 years, all pointing at the public, right? Sure, there's been some good things that have happened, such as some homicides have been, you know what I mean. Like the police have investigated the homicides and found who was doing what. And oh, Debbie, thank you very much. You'll come back. You're probably off to work. You're one of those lucky people with jobs. But yeah, anyone, by the way, if you want me to email you my CV, I've worked for some of the best technology companies in the world, but no one's hiring. Well, actually, not my last role in operational center, but another role in tech before that, they offshored all our, they actually got us to train some Fijian staff. And then before that, we got to train some Filipino staff. And then after that, we were let go. And I have a friend who works in telecommunications. He was like, yeah, man, like you had no idea the value that the Filipinos have, you could have one Kiwi salary or you could have 4 Filipino salaries. And look, I won't tease the Filipinos because if you are new here, I'm actually from Philippines originally, but I came to New Zealand when I was like 7 years old, so that's why I've got the Kiwi accent. But yeah, so no distress. I'm not judging my cousins over there, but yeah, 1 New Zealand salary equals to 4 Filipino ones, and to a point actually. I'm going around in circles, but that's kind of what happens when you're shell shocked with the news feed. That's what I've said before. It's shell shock. We're in the trenches, and we're like, bullets here, there, everywhere. So that's kind of where my brain is. But hey, you help me get through it. I help you get through it, and this is how we rock and roll. But anyways, my cousin in the Philippines actually works for Google, and specifically Google Drive. Okay, and that's since I've now said Google, YouTube's probably going to cut this transmission. If YouTube cuts me in the middle of a sentence because I've triggered one of their keywords, you'll be happy to know that we have our own platform at Kiwiradio.nz, and we kind of have most of the background stuff there, MP3 archives for the hardcore fans of $2 a month. If you've got $2 extra a month and you're not paying it for, I don't know, a $4 onion and you've got spare, that's where some of our, I don't want to say customers, but just our friends that go and check out some exclusive shows, because, when we're using these normie platforms, we might trigger the odd keyword, get blacklisted, get shadow banned, and then it's just a poor return on time, right? 09889 if you want to, say hello. But for now, just a little bit of a musical break. We also simulcast on upfm.co.nz, especially on Tuesday nights. So I want to give you a little bit of a taste of that, if you don't mind. So upfm.co.nz I used to work for these guys. We used to be out there in the FM airwaves like a proper radio station, and I used to be a proper radio DJ, except, I had the 10 p.m. slot on a evening, and I've been doing that for a very long time. But it's a poor return on time unless you want to show pony the official narratives. Remember Auntie Jacinda, how she gave all the media outlets, what was it, $55 million to the propaganda that we had in the last 2 or 3 years, right? So unless you want to go down that route, you're gonna get a nothing. Yeah, you might even get shut down. Like Alex Jones, our mates there in America. You know that he might be shutting down very soon. 3 years. Right? So that kind of thing. Whoops, I just was listening to myself then. But bit of a musical break while I wet my palate. 09889 8555. That's 09889 8555. 09889 8555 if you want to check out some of our wonderful, what am I saying? I'm trying to line up some Kiwi music for you right now, and if you've got any recommendations for New Zealand music, let me know. But here's one that I did with a collaboration called Chris Bates. He did a song called Takeaway Cup, and I did a bit of a fanboy remix, which you can find on my channel. We'll play a little bit of that, and I'll wet the palate.
I don't know you when you don't know me.
This is Up FM.
Do you exist or are you fantasy? I know you're out there, baby, I believe. Are you out with your friends on a Saturday night? Or at home, sitting, reading in the candlelight? Are you somewhere close? Are you somewhere far? I just wanna know where you are. Are you alone every time you wake up? Or are you with somebody? Maybe you should break up. And do you get your coffee and a takeaway cup? Oh,
Kiwiradio.nz, you are tuned in with me, Ralphie, apparently the Freedom DJ of the Year. So there we go. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're showering me with awards and everything. Again, my channel is not about reaching many people. It's about reaching fewer people, but more deeply. So thank you so much for joining us on this Monday morning Monday morning drive. Let's call it that. Let's just be fancy with the show. It's very much ad hoc. And thanks you again to the VinnyEastwoodShow.com for sending all his Vinny Virgins to the radio station here at Kiwiradio.nz. Vinny Virgins, love you lots. Okay, so let's read some of your comments. So this is what I love about having a radio station called Kiwiradio.nz is as much as you think you know the Kiwi music scene, ooh, here we go, you really don't. So Kiwi Radio, you're speaking to Ralphie here. Give me a moment, caller, and I will be just connecting you live right now. How about now?
It's live right now, yes.
Okay, who do we have on the line there? Is that the Vinny Meister?
It is indeed.
Well, Vinny, you'll be happy to know that you're giving the exclusive bonus content. So when you subscribe to Pornhub and you become an actual member, this is what you're getting right now. The Vinny Meister is giving you guys a little bit extra something. So actually, I was in your chat earlier, Vinny, and I said, look, I'm going live. Come join me if you're from New Zealand. And you know what? 4 of your people, your tribe, came to my show and they're watching right now. So Kyle John, DK Conspiracy, and someone else as well there. Debbie Lacey are all in the chat.
Debbie, yeah, Debbie and DK are just they're always on my channel, and you gotta love them, mate. They're just so supportive and so cool. So Kyle, on the other hand. I think you might be a new listener. I'm not sure if you've commented in the chat before, Kyle. Let me know.
Well, he's told me that he's new to my channel, so I've dubbed him as the Vinny Virgins, and so there we go. But thank you so much for joining me. And I was listening to your entire spiel when you were live, and I understand because you were sort of on the other radio station. You had an hour slot, so there's a lot to talk about. So shout outs to Ground Zero Radio as well. We simulcast a lot of their shows. They don't know we're doing it, but hey, we're pirates, we're badasses, and that's what we do. We simulcast all your stuff, Vinny, even some of the stuff that you forgot about. Like the archives. We deep dive. But Vinny, thank you so much for joining us. I was just telling everyone how this community can feel a little bit like isolated a little bit, because especially with the algorithms, shadow banning everyone and all sorts of stuff, it feels like a really poor return on time. But what I've been saying on my show recently is it's not about reaching more people. It's about reaching less people, but having deeper conversations. So that's going to be my new slogan. What do you think of that?
I think it's very clever and a very good way to excuse not having enough listeners to make your bread and butter. But
dude, I am so poor right now. At least I've got a partner. If I didn't have a partner, I'd be out on the streets right now with 2 less teeth, singing from a guitar with 2 strings. But if it wasn't for my partner...
I remember my mate Mike, he said one time he was real broke in Australia and he was sleeping on a building site and his guitar only had 2 strings. So he went to King's Cross and he bussed with 2 strings. And he's like, Vinny, I made enough money to buy 4 more strings.
Oh, that's good fun. What's on your mind? What's on your mind, brother? So you're probably living on 2 cents an hour right now, but I do donate to you the very little amount that I do. Have you noticed I've been donating 33 Mason cents every now and then?
I have actually. I was just thinking of that.
I was like, when I was doing it, I was like, Vinny's gonna have a laugh at this, hopefully.
It's just 33. A lot of people don't know. There's 33 bones in the spine if you include the 33rd, which is the whole skull. That's why it represents enlightenment. And I got told by a guy, who was his name? I can't freaking remember the name of him at the moment, but a friend of mine had a big chart of his on his wall about how energy works and all of these sorts of ins and outs. And he said that the Earth's circumference to the power of 33 is equal to the distance from the Earth to the Moon, and the distance from the Earth to the Moon to the power of 33 is equal from the distance from the Earth to the Sun. So it's a very powerful, meaningful thing. And in Freemasonry, the whole idea is order out of chaos. All right. Now, what I remember, I had a conversation with somebody, and I said that chaos is a feminine energy and order is a masculine energy. And I said, well, I just want to explain that as well. She goes, no, you can't. And then she went off on this rant about women and how powerful they are and blah, 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 and, putting her in a box, etc., etc. I go, okay, thank you very much for that perspective. Now may I explain what chaos and order actually mean? Okay, yeah, all right. Chaos is rapid change, and order is slow change. All right, so made it look like a right dick.
Hey, I've got a better joke there for you, Vinny. You've actually, and this is an original joke. Are you ready? Someone told me on the chat room right now that I am the new radio freedom DJ. And so how about this then? I'm just making this joke up as I go. I could work for the mainstream news, and I've worked for a mainstream television broadcaster, by the way. That's how I know so much about the technical stuff and how to place ads and all that, because that's what I used to do. But anyways, and they pay me handsomely for it. So I could go mainstream and get really good change, or I could go be freedom DJ and have short change. Is that even a joke? Are you even laughing?
I'm afraid not. It's just well, somebody made the erroneous statement that a joke's only funny because it's true, and it's like that's not true at all. There's a lot of things that just don't happen. Like, for example, I bought a step ladder the other day, and I never knew my real ladder.
Was that the joke? Sorry, I was I was distracted by Carl John there, who said that he's in the chat room right now saying, we used to donate regularly to Vinny. It's a bit tighter than ever. We would love to donate again, just cannot right now. Honestly, Kyle, don't feel bad about it, because I'm the same. Like, I for one, I really value Vinny's personality over the years, and I used to pay handsomely. I used to pay you $2 instead of 33 cents, something like that. Every now and then, $20 here and there. But it's the economy right now, guys. It is past a zombie economy, okay? Remember the 2008 global financial crisis? Yeah, it's hit us home right here. It feels like a free fall of the Western economies. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it's what they do. It's called the boom and bust cycle. It happens over and over again. So this is how it works. If you're a criminal banker and you can make money up out of thin air, there's no limit to the amount of money that you can make up. So you just make up as much as you want, and you loan it to people. And then they buy real stuff with it, homes, cars, TVs, stuff like that. And then when the economy contracts, you get to call in all those loans and take everybody's stuff.
Woohoo!
Out of money that you just made up.
Wait, is it like the game Monopoly?
It's even better than that, because in Monopoly, somebody winds up owning everything. That's how they win the game. But in this case, you've got four people. There might be how many pieces you could possibly have on the board of these different ultra intergenerational wealth families who have passed their wealth down through many, many subsequent generations, and passed down with their wealth the plans and obligations that they have to the secret orders that they keep in order to enslave the entirety of mankind by distracting us with propaganda, poisoning us with our food supply, making the water toxic to the brain, and so on and so forth, so that the population becomes so subservient, so stupid, and so helpless that they couldn't possibly resist what's coming. Which is a high-tech global police state.
We're all squirrels chasing a nut. We're all prisoners of a gulag, right? Where if you
Well,
want to go extreme, in Germany, obviously, they gave people less and less things to pack before incinerating them. We're kind of like that right now.
Yeah, well, one can only hope. And the thing about genocide and enslavement and war is that peace is actually a relatively rare thing in terms of the whole scope of history, in terms of what we think has been recorded and so on and so forth. Enslavement, war, genocide, these are regular things. These are normal things. And people have experienced peace and tranquility and safety for so long that they don't realize it. Now, I've spoken to a lot of people from former communist bloc countries and things of that nature. They realize it, okay, because they've seen it with their own eyes. So when the propaganda comes up in New Zealand, talking about this, that, and the other, they see that it's basically the word for word what the KGB was telling them back in the day. And they knew it was lies. When people in the communist blocs would look at the news, most of them, like 70% of them, would laugh their asses off because they knew it was complete fabrication. They knew. And I think maybe there was a recent poll in the US media saying that 30% of people trust the media, which is interesting because 30% of people will believe anything you tell them. All right? And the rest of them didn't really trust them at all. So at the moment, we have a complete copy-paste of communist indoctrination and the distrust of the media and stuff like that, and the divide and conquer principles and things of that nature. And so, what's going to happen next? You're going to start having people informing on their neighbours, being pulled out of their homes, and things of that nature. And we're still busy fighting with each other about who's got the bigger truth audience, right? And
well, this is why we are brothers. We are not competitors. And I've said it before, and I'll type it on the chat shortly in case you need to digest it. I used to be a waiter for the very wealthy in England. Okay, we're talking about Bill and Clinton Foundation, all that sort of stuff, celebrities, movie stars, rock stars. I did this one event with bankers, so I could tell they were bankers because they had their ID tags, and it was like all the big four banks of New Zealand having a bit of a chat. But strangely enough, they had this performance of all these kids dancing, right? Because it's probably a ritual of some sort, and they probably had sex with them later or something. But the kids would kind of like sing the song, and then this guy would come along and do a monologue, and he said something very profound, which sticks to me to this very day. It sums up everything, and it's so profound. And it goes like this: to prepare a nation for war, you must first instill in everyday life hatred, fear, racism, and divide.
is that right?
And that's my point of that is there is no divide between Vinny and I. There is no racism between Vinny and I, although you're quite racist to Billy, I have to say. There is no fear between.
Yeah, that was that time when Billy, who's half Māori, was being accused of being a white supremacist, and
someone was colorblind and didn't have the color wheel in front of them or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and I was working with them, and they were calling me a white supremacist. And I was bro, if I was, I would never be working with the Rangiback bastard. Okay, you got the wrong guy.
Don't you have a band called the Vinny and the Pakihas or something?
The Pakihachis. From the Māori Paki. Well, it's actually three words, really. It's from the Māori Paki, which means to clap, and from the word Pākehā, which is the New Zealand Māori word for a non-Māori New Zealander, and cheese, like my joke.
I actually thought it was something completely different, and it was Vinny and the Pakihachis, as in like the Pakihas that were about to sneeze or something. The Pakiha, jeez.
Well, the Pakihachis is my former band, just with my mate Mike Pierce. and the Vinny and the Vendettas. It was my former band where we had our drummer Barack and our bassist Ian. And unfortunately, with COVID and stuff, Mike had to leave, and because Mike was the only real musician of us, there's no band for Vinny now, and so I can't do my songs, and I can't sing, and can't hang out with the boys and stuff like that. So it's been really hard, during COVID. I lost a lot. I lost pretty much all. They say there's like 5 pillars or something like that of your life. Your friends, your family, your job, your hobbies, your whatever. And I kind of lost all of them. So a very short. What was it? Over 5 years, I think, since the 2019 Christchurch mosque massacre. And since that time up until now, I've pretty much lost almost everything that I've ever really worked for. So it's been difficult, but it's during these times of crises, and you have these personal moments of introspection, and you think about what have I done wrong, and how can I stop that from happening again, and what do I do now, and that sort of thing. And when you suffered with such tremendous loss, I was talking with this guy, Ralph Fusatola, who's a lawyer, and he's a good friend of Dr. Rima Labo, who co-hosts her show with him. And he told me he was into bibliomancy. Now, I'd heard of necromancy, which is talking to the dead, but he was talking about bibliomancy, talking to books. Now, theoretically, you can just ask a question, right, and then read a book. And through the course of reading the book, you'll actually find the answer to your question. And I thought, well, that's interesting. Why don't I try cinemancy? I'm a big movie buff, so I put on a movie and asked it the question, what do I do with the loss of all these really important things in my life? And the movie I randomly put on was No Country for Old Men. And in the end of the movie, the sheriff is talking to his dad. His dad's an old guy, got a leg cut off by a drunk driver, and he used to be a sheriff as well. And he says to him, boy, after I lost my leg, I tried as hard as I could to get back what I'd lost. I tried to get back my mobility, and I nearly killed myself doing it. Sooner or later, you got to put a tourniquet on that wound and get on with your life. And that's exactly what I'm doing.
But Vinny, don't be so hard on yourself, because there's several things that I want to touch point with you with what you just said right now. There is one constant in life, and that is change. So the fact that you're adapting to change, you've stayed resilient regardless of what pounding life gives you. But you're absolutely right, because it's worth it. There are a little glimpse of joy in life that is worth everything. I think for us to be here on this earth, we were meant to have misery. We were meant to have this. But it's the community and the tribe that makes it so worthwhile. And as doors close, as you mentioned, with the band and everything like that, new doors also open, as long as you're willing to be vulnerable and reach out to your tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
that's what I need right now. I need a lot of help from my tribe.
And
just
that doesn't mean we're not
stuff.
Yeah, we're not prostitutes. We're not here to be your freedom DJs. We're not here to just grab your money or anything. We're here for friendships, but also money helps, right?
Well, it's a different kind of economy. All right, the traditional economy is I create a product. I take all the risk, and then I make all the perfect specifications. I manufacture the product, and then I put it out for sale. And the profits that I get from the sale of that product, I then put into making new products and continuing in business and making profit. The peer-to-peer economy, on the other hand, is I make a product and I take all the risk, and then I put it out for free. And then if people consume that product and they like it and they want to see more of it, they give their money voluntarily. They gift it. Because what you're doing is what's right for the world, they feel. Or in some way, it's what's right for them. Or whatever reason that people really have for supporting the Vinny Eastwood show. I mean, I've spoken to 3 people over the years who said that they were going to commit suicide
Yeah.
until I came into their life and did what I did for them or the show or something.
Vinny.
And in talk radio, sorry, just one last point on this.
Mhm.
In talk radio, there's a metric that if you have one person who calls into the show expressing an opinion, there's 1,000 other people who didn't call into the show who probably had the same opinion.
Yeah.
So if I've saved maybe 3 or 4 lives that I know of, that means I could have potentially saved 3 or 4,000 lives, right? So that's people, good people who are walking around today
Mhm.
because I made a sacrifice. I didn't want to make 20 grand a month selling BS. I wanted to have just enough to survive selling the truth. And that's what's helped people to get through their dark days.
Vinny, this hits home because I've told you this time and time again. I've listened to you from American Freedom Radio to Ground Zero to wherever you kept, doing your platforms. I kept following you at thevinnyeastwoodshow.com because in my dark times, Vinny, you were the warm blanket that kept me going. Honestly, it was like, I know how some people listen to podcasts to fall asleep. It was like that. It was like you going, there, you'll be okay. And that's kind of gay, to be honest. Sorry, bro.
Everybody needs to be loved and appreciated, and maybe even be cuddled or hugged or something like that sometimes. And honestly, it's just a psychological thing. It's catharsis. You know the reason why superhero movies are popular and why the superheroes go through such horrible experiences during those movies that build their character and make them go through challenges and so on and so forth. It's important to have that kind of catharsis because everybody's going through some kind of pain, some kind of trauma or whatever. And when they see somebody else going through something worse than they are, it makes them feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, the timer is down. Thank you so much for listening to Kiwiradio.nz. I've only set a timer because, Vinny, my phone is actually counting down the life of the battery, and it's now 14%. So you can keep going if you like, but I'm just letting you know that once it gets to like 5%, I might have to cut it off, but it's 14% right now. Vinny, you are doing fabulous things. You're, guesting on people's shows, the radio station, all sorts, American, everywhere. Just keep doing it, man, and I'll keep chucking those 33 Mason cents out your way whenever I can, okay, buddy?
All right. Anybody else out there want to make a $777 donation? Go for your life, son.
Hey, speaking of that, I've been liquidating a lot of investments. I actually got into cryptocurrencies very early. Not as early as this friend of mine that was a plumber, and he's now a multi-millionaire because he invested $200 back in when it first started, and now the value of cryptocurrency is now 100,000 per coin. Not that early, but I still quadrupled my investment. But I'm all pulling it out because it's basically like 1 or 2 months worth of survival. So but doesn't it make you angry a little bit that people are struggling out there, and now there's this, old money is gone, you've got new money, cryptocurrencies, there's so much dark money in that, with people, just so much dark money, and I don't know, it just kind of makes me a little bit sad and angry, but there we go.
Yeah, sad and angry. That's what we all are. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we have a choice between what we think about it. That was why I had an important realization a couple of weeks ago. Was these 3 words: control your thoughts.
Yeah.
Control your thoughts. Control your thoughts.
And this is why.
Anytime you're really worried, stressing out about something, and your thoughts are going out of control, just remember those 3 words and just repeat them to yourself, because then you're actually only thinking about those 3 words, and those 3 words have a power and they have a meaning. Because when you are able to control your thoughts, you'll be able to figure out what's going on, and you'll be able to do something about it.
And on that note,
right? It says Marcus Aurelius. Last one. Marcus Aurelius said that there's 2 choices that you've got to do, based upon a question. Number 1, can you do something about it? If the answer is no, then don't worry about it. Number 2, can you do something about it? And if the answer is yes, then don't worry about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Vinny, you're the man with a master plan. I wish you all the best in your side of the trenches there. And if anyone has a job for me, I've worked with some of the best tech companies in the world, but now they're hiring Fijians, Filipinos for a quarter of the amount. So can't compete with that. But anyways, if you do have a job, let me know. We are all struggling in some form or shape. But again, that's why I come back to it's a controlled demolition of our choices, essentially, right? You know, the less income we have, the less choices we have, the more we are willing to go and go along with the status quo. But on the good side, a lot of my friends, like even normies, have been listening to my show, and because I mix music with the show, right? They kind of get in with that. It's kind of like our own religion, whatever, like a church. You have the priest, and then you have the music. But even them, they started to like send me voice messages and things like that, going, "Oh my God, the world is broken. The greed is rampant." And for those churchgoers out there, we were doing a study on the book of Isaiah. The book of Isaiah is pretty much the exact same thing right now when you're having, housing issues with all these investment firms buying out normal houses so the local public can't buy anything. It happened back then. And the thing over there back then in history, though, in the book of Isaiah, we actually had every 50 years a debt jubilee. Debt jubilee. But I don't think because of this power structures now, and you've got people that have like multi-millionaire cryptocurrencies, with dark money, the morals and stuff are gone. So it's almost like it's a new era of just dark ages,
Like I say, I remember there'll be consequences, right? And I think it was Luke Hurley. He saw me outside the Cafe 1-to-1 in Ponsonby one time.
A great musician. I've interviewed him.
Yeah, he comes up to me and goes, "Vinny, I love you, man. I love your show. I've just got a question to ask you, Vinny. I've just got a question to ask you. In doing what you're doing, do you think you're putting yourself in danger?" And I said, "Well, one can only hope."
Carl said we have a great show happening right now, and you just need to reach more ears. And I'm just letting everyone know that you can download our shows as MP3s on the VinnyEastwoodShow.com. There's an MP3 page there. You can play it at work or whatever, or I don't know, you might need to do a dead drop and do a dead drop of USBs to all your local mailboxes and tell them to listen in or something like that, because definitely the algorithms are not going to help us, but it is all about the tribe. So Vinny, thank you so much for joining us. The countdown is on. My battery is 12%, and because we've created this new religion called Kiwiradio.nz, we're going to be signing off this today's sermon. Is it sermon or semen? With some music. So any last words?
Well, I mean,
you got semen on your mind now, don't you?
No, I was just thinking, is this a Catholic show? Because there's just often some semen after the sermon in that regard. So that was actually the 100% of your donation paid at the Catholic churches of 1 year actually went to out-of-court settlements for the children that they were abusing, so that the parents wouldn't tell anybody about it. 100% of the donations to your religion are there to cover up its crimes. That's an interesting factoid. Enjoy your meal.
Hey, and I've been listening to some tutorials about the best DJs in the world, and this is what radio is all about. We're all isolated, but the fact that we had a little laughter banter there, and then we're going to go into a song, it's all about the feel-good vibes, and that's what we're doing, right? In the middle of the trenches.
Well, no, we're trying to change people's minds, and you don't change people's minds with information. You change it with emotion. Yeah. And music is the only thing that we know of yet discovered that affects all parts and areas of the brain. And dance is the only thing we've discovered where you activate all areas of the body. So ladies and gentlemen, listen to the song let it move you and move your body with it, and all of your brain and all of your body will be activated, and that will change how you think, that will change how you feel, that will make you better.
Yeah. Amen, bro. Okay. You have a good one, and much love to you. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing, man. 33 cents coming out your way. That's your paycheck there from Kiwiradio.nz. And because it's under $1 million, it's called a gift, so you don't have to pay tax, I guess.
Yeah, that's gangster, bro. Cheers.
All right, love you, bro. Thank you very much. That was Vinny Eastwood from the VinnyEastwoodShow.com. And yeah, when we play this song, let it move you. Let it just close your eyes. It's all about the good vibes. And because we are Kiwiradio.nz, if you've got any recommendations for New Zealand music, you can actually head along to Instagram.com/Kiwiradio.nz. And yeah, basically send me a DM. Send me a DM of any really cool local musicians. And remember, we also have a music show every Tuesday night at Kiwiradio.nz from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. New Zealand time. So any last words, everybody? Just say your thank yous and everything like that in the chat. I want to say thank you to Debbie Lacey, Carl John for sticking around, DK. Hopefully this has given you some good value and just fun vibes for this Monday morning drive, wherever you are. It is 11 a.m. right now in New Zealand. We are signing off with a Kiwi track that's recommended here. Will Force is the name of the artist, written by Wilbur Rakes, aka Will Force, and this is his live acoustic song called To My Good Friend. See everyone. I'm glad we've had this moment as new friends moving forward.
For a moment. Yeah. This is dedicated to my good friend, Greg Parsons. You always told me that I would succeed as long as I kept doing what I did. You made me feel like a rock star when you put my music on. You would turn it up till the speakers rattled and sing along. You always enjoyed it when anybody would play. Let the man with the guitar have the right of way. You had a way with words and an amazing mind. How did you remember all those things? It got me every time. I don't think I've ever laughed so much in my damn life. Laughter is the best medicine, brother, that's no word of a lie. Your kindness and welcoming soul was always felt strong when I walked through that door. And I think everybody felt good when they hung out with yo. You had a positive effect on my life, and don't ever forget it. When I told you my problems, you said, don't sweat it, don't sweat it, don't sweat it, don't sweat it. Master quiz, a bodybuilder, table tennis, a pool player, poet, comedian, builder, artist, and bricklayer. You were a damn good friend, oh boy. You were always there for me. We were good comrades and we enjoyed each other's company. Master quiz, a bodybuilder, table tennis, a pool player, poet, comedian, builder, artist, and bricklayer. You were a damn good friend, oh boy. You were always there for me. We were good comrades and we enjoyed each other's company. Remember when we were uptown Wellington, half piston off our seat, and we sung Purple Rain to the people across the street. I never really realized how much you cared about my music until I heard it from all the friends you had shared it. I do believe a true friend is hard to find, and it feels appropriate to do a song for you, bruh. I feel it's time. I'm sure you would appreciate this song like you did the rest of mine. Yeah, 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 yeah. Never would I wanna ever bring a bad vibe to you, for you taught me how to play ping pong. Ape shit, motherfucker, you would never hold back when you told a joke or sang a song. I never seen someone rip a book to pieces when they finished reading it. I never seen nobody drink like you could drink anyone under the table shit. Mad motherfucker, but a good cunt nonetheless. In peace you show rest. I'm gonna miss you, bruh. On that day, 1st of December, I will remember you always be in my heart forever, forever, forever. Master quiz, a bodybuilder, table tennis, a pool player, poet, comedian, builder, artist, and bricklayer. You were a damn good friend.
We have enjoyed each other's company. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for listening in. DK, much love to you, Carl John as well, Debbie Lacey, and everyone else listening to this on replays, because you can download our shows if you are a member for $2 a month over in Kiwiradio.nz. That helps support the servers as well, and we'll be there doing this kind of vibe. The Freedom DJ for New Zealand. I love that tagline. Thank you so much for giving me that idea. And that's it, pretty much. Thank you. We'll see you guys at our usual spot of Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Tomorrow we'll be interviewing country music star Stephanie Beck, who's going to be doing some shows in New Zealand. So stick around for that tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. New Zealand time. Otherwise, you enjoy the rest of your day, and whatever you're doing, stay cool and stay creative. Ralphie signing out.
The stage is ready for you.